What I've learned. So last term, my main focus was aerodynamics pertaining towards airplanes, in which I built my own RC plane. I don't have it with me because I finished it during spring term at home. And also the machinery and the science of how aircrafts can actually manipulate air particles or molecules to create lift to, like, how do they fly? That's basically the science I was in here. And this term, I learned from Mr. Berry the basics of how servers work, the components of a PC and each one's purpose and how they work and how they all correlate together and how they're each and every one are compatible and how you have to make sure that is good with each other. I also did something on the side, a small additional interest, particularly the economic theory of the unified currency, which I wrote my history paper on, and that's what I learned. So just something real quick about pistons, and which something pertaining towards airplanes about machinery. So pistons are a type of machinery that creates motion through pressure and spark plugs. So I have a little actually video to kind of show the process of how it works here.
Moves on its first down.
It's not switching. Oh wait, I can get together.
Towards stroke. The intake valve opens to allow a mixture of air and fuel to fill the combustion chamber. This is called the intake stroke. Next, the intake valve closes and the piston moves on an upward stroke that compresses the air-fuel mixture. The compression of the air-fuel mixture will make it combust with greater force than if it were uncompressed. This is called the compression stroke. Third, the spark plug ignites the air-fuel mixture, causing it to burn explosively, which forces the piston into another downward stroke. This is called the power stroke. The fourth stroke is the exhaust stroke. As the piston begins its second upward stroke, the exhaust valve opens and the burned air-fuel mixture is forced out of the combustion chamber through the exhaust valves. Two terms you may be asked to explain to customers.
That's enough of that. We'll just go like this. So there's 4 stages like the video explained. So there's just 5 main components in here. It's the piston itself, the spark plug, and the 2 valves. One valve is the intake of air, so when it inputs air into the actual chamber. The outtake, in which outputs all the already existing air from the input. And this is like a swivel, in which produces movement to move any type of machinery pertaining for airplanes, the propeller. And plans for the future. My ultimate goal, or at least what I plan to achieve, to start here in high school and to continue throughout college, is to study what AI is and to do research that applies to AI and also applies it to robotics. And that's what I'm doing for my independent study for the first 2 terms next year. Also learning the basic principles of economics and all of its subsidiaries, such as microeconomics, finance, and etc. It's another side interest I also have, in which I talked about unified currency, which is one of the theories I found really interesting. And also enhance further learning with philosophy, science, and the philosophy of science. Why we study science, how did it come to be, and what's our logic in integrating it. And that's my presentation.
Okay. Good job, Haroon.
What's your suggestion for unified currency?
Excuse me?
What's your suggestion for unified currency?
Well, my thesis that I had for it was that it is a necessity in order for a globalized economy. So in terms, yes, because it increases transaction costs for privately owned companies. So you may not know some of these, but you
do we not have a globalized economy already? Can we not trade globally and sell globally?
No, a unified currency. It's completely different. Bitcoin and EU are a perfect example of that, but they're not on a global scale.
Good, sir. If I want to trade with Australia, can I do that?
Wait, would it be something that...
Why do we need a unified currency?
Those are all
would it be...
This is not a debate. This is just him giving his deal.
Would it be
well, if it was one unified currency that all states followed, it would decrease like just overall transaction costs. Also, it wouldn't like... There's also like a bunch of counter arguments, like it would interfere with fiscal and monetary policies, and that's simply not true, because at that point fiscal and monetary policies are a short-term thing, and a unified currency is a more of a long-term goal, which would take a long time to actually, like some people consider it like non-feasible. Feasible.
We're not debating.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
One country screwed up.
Okay, let's stick to the technology. That's cool that he has this other interest, but afternoon tech time.
No, no, I can answer it. It's fine. Interdependence is also one of the things that.
I was gonna ask, wouldn't like an irresponsible country like Zimbabwe screw this up?
No. So when the system is first established, that's what it's trying to fix. Those independent countries that has those hyperinflations like Zimbabwe. It's also one of the sub causes like why we have after World War II. The EU is a perfect example of a unified currency. It also is to prevent wars or military actions because it affects countries directly in an economic stance. See, when we had the United Nations, it was more based on alliances and embargoes, which is not an insure policy. But this time, it's an economic policy, which is pretty insure because it directly affects countries. Germany had its own currency, Britain had its own currency, all these other countries have their own currency. So if I attack Britain, it won't affect my country economically. And that's what the unified currency is trying, it's one of it, it's not the main purpose. But when it was founded, or the idea was brought up, it was mainly brought up by Europeans and also Chinese investors. That was one of their also main ideas behind it. I'm not so knowledgeable in everything, but I know okay enough.
Okay, any other questions for Haroon?
Alright, very cool. Did you ever finish or did you test the plane ever?
I had one problem. I never got to fix it because I haven't gotten back home yet.
Bless you.
I have the battery. It's too heavy, so the nose is a little bit too heavy, so I have to distribute the weight a little bit more evenly, and then it should be fine. All the components work out. I can take pictures of it and send you.
Cool. All right, thank you, Haroon.